Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, I did an initial quick pop, look at this thing and run off to the next one. And that's kind of what I'm going to be doing on the other knives that I get in, I'll take them out, I'll do a quick, overview of them, then I'll go to the next one in the box. But after a while, I sit down there and I start looking at them. And when I start looking at them, I notice things that I may not have noticed before. And one of the things I noticed on this was the pliers have a nail nick. You don't have to grab them by the nose like I did there. It's got its own dedicated nail nick. It's also operating off of 2 springs. There are 2 springs and they're dedicated to just the pliers. Alright, now this other one here, the main blade and that screwdriver thing, they share a spring. Over here there's just a single spring for them. And at first I was thinking, well, these pliers are not much, but if you think about what this is really useful for, one of the things is electrical. And with pliers, these pliers, let's look a little closer at these pliers, get it to focus, and we'll zoom in some on the pliers. No, focus right there. I'm trying to tell it to focus on this. Focus right there, you bonehead. They have serrations, grips, on the jaw face. There we go. And that helps grab and pull. If it was smooth, you'd have an issue with losing your grip on stuff. And for example, if you're using this as an electrician's kind of knife, now it doesn't have, there is something that's kind of like a reverse cutter or crimper. You see at the very bottom right there? If you had a very small wire, like 20 gauge probably or less, like 20 gauge, 22 gauge, 24, the bigger the number, the smaller the wire on wires. You see, it doesn't go all the way, so it's not a cutter. It would be more like a crimper, although it might work. Anyways, you don't have the normal thing that you would have on a plier, which is like wire cutters there. But you do have, like I said, these serrated teeth up here, and then these knurled teeth here are better for like a nut. Now, the reason why I like pliers on a tool better than an adjustable open-end wrench, an adjustable open-end wrench is better for use if you're using it on a nut, like a 1/2-inch nut or something like that. You adjust it and you get it in there and you turn it, and the reason why it's better is it has more of a face holding on to it. It's being held on mechanically instead of just by your fingers, and it has a tendency to not round out the bolt, which you will do with a pair of pliers when you're supposed to be using the right tool for the job. If you're working on a machine and it has a nut on it and you've got a pair of pliers, it can be done with a pair of pliers. You can tighten and close it, but there's a good possibility that you're either gonna over torque it, and when you do, the pliers are gonna turn, or the last person that did it over torqued it, and eventually any head that was on that bolt is going to be rounded out. Alright, so that's one thing. If you know what you're doing and you hold it tight the whole time and you don't try to let it start turning with the metal in there, then you can use pliers as a thing. But with open-end, adjustable-end wrench, try and grab some insulation and pull with it. It ain't going to do anything. It's smooth faced jaws, and it's just going to slip. So that's another thing that this would be used for, besides fishing. Like I said, you could use it for fishing. And there are no cracks on these pins. It's done pretty well. It's not raised up. To me, it seems like there was more effort put into this early model knife than normal, than the later models. Some of the later models seem to be more rushed. And, you know, like I said, this is a if it doesn't break your thumbnail, it'll bend it back or chip it when you try to get this guy open. But this is a pretty good, like I said, I demonstrated the, I haven't taken any of this stuff off. Like I said, I haven't cleaned it. This is going to come right off. But, it's sharp enough to use this as a blade if you wanted to. You still have this other spear point or drop point that you can use. And, of course, we have this tapered, can be used as a pry bar on little things, you know. If you're going to break anything, break that instead of your blade. And this one's not too hard. Now, as far as like, you know, when I was pulling on this and getting it, you can do that way. And as far as this nail neck, this is solid right here. What gives is just the jaws on the pliers. And one other thing I wanted to show on the pliers. When you're looking at pliers, you know, besides seeing how well they mate together, I wish this thing would focus here. Seeing how well they mate together when you close them, you know, there's a little bit of, just a slight bit of overlap on there. That's one thing, but then the actual flatness and trueness, how well does this, you know, mate together? And this does pretty good. You know, it's got a pretty good bite to it and a little grab, and it can get fine stuff. Would have pulled my fingernails out if you want to torture somebody. Not that I condone that. I'm just saying, this thing has a lot of grip to it. Oh yeah, the pliers, what I was going to say. Now, one other thing you want to look at when you're looking at pliers is how this is joined together. And this is almost like a rivet, which is like one of the worst things, but it's more like a piece of thing that's been peened over that was like a screw. So you're not going to be able to change that. And like I mentioned before, if this was like a really precision one, like a German made or something, this would probably have little machined bolts or screws, you know, little fine jeweler screws. And an ability that even if you didn't have the spare part, you could take this off and interchange it, because they know that anything that does anything is going to break after a while. Now the spring really should push all the way up here, and I can bend it a little bit to give it a little bit more oomph, but ideally, if you let go of this, the whole purpose of a spring is it flies the jaws open for you, so you don't have to push open and then pull closed. Probably more than you want to know about pliers there. But, yeah, other than that, let's get the weight on it, because this is one of those things where normally I would just... Alright, this is in grams. 111 grams. Oh, over to ounces. 3.930 ounces. So it's not too heavy. Getting up there, but for pair. Alright, so that was the RR1081 Rough Rider Pocket Pliers. It cost me $8.09. The other one was sold out. It was 9 cents less. It was $8. And it's still listed on their website as available, which is strange. But their website is kind of, I mean, not to knock them real hard or anything, but their website's kind of amateurish. So what you link to may not, it may show available and able to put into your cart, and then when you click on the description, it says out of stock. So just be aware of that. They won't charge you for something they don't ship, it looks like, because, like I said, one of these they didn't have, and my credit card had, you know, been... I'll have to go back and look at it, but it should have been charged $32 or something. It was only charged $23. So anyway, there you go. That's all I can tell you on this one. We'll upgrade on this knife, kind of in depth. Let's zoom in a little bit more and look at him a little closer. I mean, this is looking at it really close, getting up there. But it's a nice cigar shape, equal end, you know, type of knife. And even though you've got 3, you know, tools crammed in here and everything, it's not super wide. We'll do it in centimeters. almost 1.5 centimeters wide. So, pretty nice knife overall. And, yeah, it's just one of those nice things that I would never have found out if Sue Chicken hadn't told me about this company. So, you know, if you like knives and everything, and somebody's giving you crap and saying, "Are you watching that knife stuff again?" and what all good did that do you? You can tell them, "Hey, look, I saved money because my friend told me about this sale going on." Of course, it won't get you very far if you're arguing with a spouse. I know how they would come back at that one. "It's just what you need, more knives." And yeah, in a way they're right. That's just what you need is more knives. But I don't go rigging about all those shoes you've got in the closet. I might have mentioned it once or twice before, but I didn't say, "Geez, you've got a lot of shoes." So yeah. Anyway, there you go. I'll let you know when I get some more in. I'll try to do an in-depth one on that Rough Rider Rifleman canoe, but it's basically the same as all the other Rifleman series. It's just in a canoe pattern, and nothing super fancy, special, rare like this thing, this exotic, rare bird that we captured. So yeah, thank you for watching. That's another in-depth review of this guy. I'll use it, carry it around, and let you know how it works as like actual around the house type of stuff, because I'm really not working on huge machinery anymore, so this little size plier should be perfect for everyday carry. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.